Hi. What's your body image like? Most of us are so used to feeling a particular way about our body and how we walk through the world that we don't even notice that we might have a negative body image, a negative image of ourselves. And that really reduces the confidence, the connection, and the joy we have in life. So, are you just like a fish in water who doesn't realize it's in water? Are you swimming in a bath of negative, constant, subconscious, and conscious beliefs about yourself? I would like you to look at this with me because it can change dramatically how you interact with the world. I know. I'm Cathy Vartuli from ThrivingNow.com, and a few years ago, just over two actually, I was afraid to date. I didn't have relationships. I didn't have a lot of depth. I worked a lot, and I kept waiting for the weight to disappear so that I could start getting out there and date. I hadn't been in a relationship in 14 years. That's a long time to be lonely. It's a long time to wait. One day I realized that I could keep waiting, and maybe when I was 65, 75, 85, 100, I might wake up and say, where did my life go? Or I could stop waiting, and I could get out there. In the meantime, I've done a lot of work on myself. I've changed how I view myself and my body, and my whole world has changed. And I can guarantee you the media hasn't changed. The stereotypical beliefs about fat people, overweight people haven't changed. Nothing's really changed out there. And my body really hasn't changed. As a matter of fact, my boss just went through, someone I'm very close to, went through a really tough medical thing that took, he was out for quite a while. We weren't sure he was going to make it. And I actually gained a bit of weight. And just because I was stressed and I was looking for comfort. And I'm really glad I had that comfort to give myself. But the truth is, I'm very happy. My life is really joyful. I have plenty of dates, I have wonderful friends, and I'm making a difference in the world. Nothing out there changed, and my body didn't change. What changed was what's in here and what's in here. And I went from someone who would sit home most nights eating while I watched TV to someone who's traveling all around the country and talking on radio stations and at national conventions, talking about how we can accept ourselves and love ourselves and start getting out there. And I'd love for you to start changing how you talk to yourself. It changes your life from very heavy and negative and horrible sometimes to really beautiful. I used to wake up every morning and I would look at myself in the mirror, and without even being aware I was doing it, like if I'd stopped, I could have noticed that I was doing it, but it was just so constant. I would tell myself, "Oh my God, you are so fat and ugly. I just wish you'd change." I would shame myself. I would beat myself up. Once I stopped doing that, I started, for a while it was just reaching for neutral. It was just like, oh, okay, let's not say anything horrible to myself, because it wasn't a good way to start off the day. And then I gradually started finding things I loved about myself, and when I saw that other people didn't view me the way I was viewing myself, the way I told myself I had to be viewed, things started changing really quite rapidly. I found that I could really love my body and be amazed at what a miracle it is. It does so much for me. It allows me to experience the world and touch people and be touched. And once I started enjoying it, life started getting really sweet. So I know some of you think that you can't possibly change how you view yourself, because if you do, you might even slip further into the depths of despair. I know I thought that if I stopped beating myself up for being fat, that I would gain weight. I stopped beating myself up, and I was just happier. If shame worked, all the shame out there, we wouldn't have 2/3 of the population that's considered medically overweight or obese. Shame doesn't work. So when you start loving yourself, you at least have a firm place to stand, and some people do find that their weight changes and some people don't, but they're happier in any case. So let's just do a little tapping on letting go of the shame and letting go of the negative thoughts we keep telling ourselves. First, take a nice deep breath and put your feet on the floor. When we're present with ourselves, we start making a bigger difference faster. So we can start on the karate chop. Even though I've been beating myself up for years, in fact, I've done it for so long, I don't even notice it anymore. I'd really like to start changing this right now. even though I'm afraid to let go of these negative voices. I'm afraid that's all that's between me and weighing 500 pounds. What if the shame doesn't help? What if the shame just gets in the way of me and life? Top of the head, I'm ready to start living my life more deeply. Eyebrow, I want more joy. Side of the eye, don't I have to beat myself up for that? Under the eye, what if I don't have to? Under the nose, what if my body is doing its best right now? Chin, what if it's at a weight that it thinks it's safe? Collarbone, what if it's doing its best to help me be safe? Under the arm, maybe I could start thanking it. Top of the head, instead of beating it up. Eyebrow, but I'm so good at beating it up. Side of the eye, I've done this for years. Under the eye, would I treat a pet this way? Under the nose, would I treat a child this way? Chin, would I give them a constant barrage of negative information? Collarbone, I don't think so. Under the arm, why do I treat myself this way? Top of the head, what if I could start being kinder to myself? Eyebrow, what are 3 things I can appreciate about me right now? Side of the eye, what if I could start walking through the world under the eye with less shame? Under the nose, I've been piling a lot of shame on myself. Chin, what if I stopped doing that now? Collarbone, what if I started appreciating myself? Under the arm, and loving myself a little bit more. Top of the head, I bet I'd walk through the world differently. And that might make all the difference in the world. Take a nice deep breath. When we start looking at how we view our body and how we view ourselves and how we walk through the world, we see that there's a direct correlation. A lot of people think that people aren't attracted to overweight people or people that are bigger. And I think really the truth is there are some people that have preferences for skinny people. But I think almost all people don't enjoy being around someone who's sunk deep in shame. I think shame doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel sexy. They don't go together. How many shameful people have you seen that are authentically sexy and charismatic? We all have some shame, but the ones that are deeply sunk in it, the way I was for a long time, I just never could figure out why people weren't connecting to me at the level I wanted to be connected at. The more shame I've released, the easier it's been to create those connections, and the more delightful they've been. I invite you to start treating yourself in a different way and finding a little bit more of that sexy, joyful confidence that you'd like to walk through the world with. Let me know what you think. Please leave comments below. Let us know if you agreed, disagreed, if you tried the tapping, what you thought. Notice what comes up for you when you do that tapping. When did you learn you had to beat yourself up? Was it really true, or was that a 2 or 3-year-old trying to be safe in the world? We invite you to start being more confident right now. Thank you.